2025 is set to be the most memorable year in the history of wrestling. The streaming wars are heating up after AEW debuted with Max on January 1st. More importantly, WWE made its Netflix debut on
Monday night, January 6th.
Here's what's happening January 6th on Netflix.
I'm going to make history on January 6th.
On January 6th, it is a new launch of WWE worldwide. On January 6th is just the start.
January 6th in Los Angeles, one of the biggest events in WWE history.
It's official, January 6th.
I'm gonna beat you January 6th on Netflix.
On January 6th.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not gonna have a country anymore.
On January 6th.
We're gonna walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're gonna walk down to the Capitol.
At the Capitol on January 6th.
What actually happened on January 6th?
I hear every wrestler that lost a match that night will try to overturn the results. Not to be outdone by WWE, even though they were, AEW turned 6 years old in 2025. But after another baffling episode of Dynamite, AEW is 6 going on 60. AEW is fighting an uncool problem that they're highly unlikely to win. But if they're gonna turn things around, they're not gonna do it with aging wrestlers in the main event. So how then is AEW planning to combat its uncool problem? With aging wrestlers in the main event, duh! Today, we're going to talk about AEW doubling down on geriatrics and how a struggling company has reduced itself to using old wrestlers to solve old problems. Subscribe and seniority. If AEW's locker room was any more medieval, its top stars would be walking around with their dicks out like every old man at 24-hour fitness. AEW is so retired, and they just can't hide it. AEW Dynamite's new theme song is literally I'm So Excited by the Pointer Sisters, which came out in 1982. The promotion is also going to bring back Elton John's Saturday for its B-show Collision, which came out in 1973. AEW Rampage is also imitating old people because now it's dead. Even if Rampage was still alive, its theme song would probably be all like, thank you for being a friend. Let's drive this joke into the ground with a live look at the AEW women's division.
Thank you for being a friend.
Tony Khan's assistant booker is 65-year-old Dave Meltzer, whose idea of cool is using imaginary stars to grade fake wrestling matches. Unfortunately, all the jests for men in the world doesn't change the fact that Dave Meltzer is an old fuck. In other words, his hair has dye in it, and he just can't hide it. Okay, after an alarming 2024, AEW desperately needs a fresh start. But to kick off 2025, in a year where they have to get younger and make new stars, Tony Khan is booking 57-year-old Jeff Jarrett in a retirement tour. Look, I love Jeff Jarrett. He embodies every quality in wrestlers that I love. He follows me on Twitter, and that's it. That's all it takes for me to love a wrestler. Just follow me on Twitter. This is nasty. Having said that, AEW is doing another retirement tour with Jeff Jarrett. Forget the fact that John Cena is doing a much better version of this in WWE and on Netflix as an A-list star. AEW already went the retirement well twice in 2024. Sting had a retirement tour that ended in March, followed by Bryan Danielson's retirement tour that same year in August. Retirement tours are supposed to be special storylines that you do maybe once a decade. AEW has already done 3 in 6 years, and they're all featuring wrestlers who made their names with other promotions. Retirement tours live and die by sentimental value, but a free agent with no ties to AEW embarking on a retirement tour in AEW carries no sentimental value whatsoever. AEW's first retirement storyline should have been with, an AEW original. They wouldn't even have to wait that long. In a few years, almost all the EVPs will be pushing 40 or older. AEW's history has nothing to do with Sting, Jeff Jarrett, or Bryan Danielson's retirement, so when you see highlights of their careers, they just make you feel nostalgic for other wrestling promotions. AEW has turned into a whorehouse where grandfathers go to sing their swan songs. Imagine taking Peyton Manning with the Broncos at the end, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets now, and Kirk Cousins with the Falcons, and calling it a wrestling promotion. You'd have AEW. AEW is the master of beating the same storylines to death, even when they don't work. They tried an invasion angle with the Young Bucks, and when that violently flamed out, they did the same damn thing with the Whitepool Combat Club, which is violently flaming out. Now they're doing back-to-back-to-back farewells with wrestlers who don't even go here. At least John Cena had a cradle-to-the-grave career with WWE. Cena never wrestled with any other promotion. Jeff Jarrett is a complete opposite. In fact, Jarrett is the ultimate worker. In 2022, Jarrett worked for WWE, NWA, GCW, and AEW. He should be in the Keep Getting Them Checks Hall of Fame. Now AEW is renting a Jeff Jarrett retirement storyline, so all the emotions that go with it feel bought and paid for. They're not authentic. Jeff Jarrett's journey to retirement in AEW was a contract negotiation, but at least now AEW has enough money to license vintage footage from TNA and WWE.
What's good? Come get your free PWB sticker. You can stick me on your smartphone so I can listen to all your conversations like the government, but I won't tell anyone. I'll just judge quietly. I'm a healthy adhesive. Just post me on a MacBook because apples are delicious. We can even stick it to the man and jump on a cop car together. Whee! Because, hey, where you going, you selfish son of a... Is that all you got, you hoe-ass pigs?
Get your free stickers by clicking the link in the description. AEW's aging problem goes far beyond its obsession with retirement and hit songs from the 70s. Jon Moxley, AEW's world champion, is almost 40. The top contender, now known as Cope, is 51 years old. The man who holds a contract for an anytime world title shot, Christian Cage, is also 51. AEW's hottest faction is the Hurt Syndicate. Love that for them. But they consist of a 49-year-old Shelton Benjamin, a 51-year-old MVP, and its youngest member is Bobby Lashley, who turned 48 in July. Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks turns 40 in March, and the returning Kenny Omega is 41. Claudio Castagnoli is a trios champion and main eventer by way of the Whitepool Combat Club. He's 44. Eddie Kingston is a heart and soul of AEW, which means AEW is at risk for heart and soul disease because that nigga's 43. The ROH World Champion is Chris Jericho. AEW put the title on him to try to get ROH a TV deal with Max. Chris Jericho is 54. Even up-and-coming stars like Orange Cassidy is 40. Fuck a TV deal. AEW might as well give their money to me, shorty. You can't dance in the strip club when you're 40. AEW has a 28-year-old MJF right there, but they're wasting him in a nonsensical storyline that should have been scrapped a year ago. 29-year-old Toni Storm was a revelation in 2024, but they're rebooting her with an old gimmick. Look, I like the creative ambition, but you need timeless Toni Storm yesterday. AEW does not have the luxury to be fixing what was never broken. AEW's biggest stars are older than Glenn Jacobs if he needed a cane. Everything about the promotion, from its Dave Meltzer influence to its vintage theme music, right down to its medieval main event, feels like AGW. All geriatric wrestling. AGW, the type of wrestling promotion to eat pistachios from a glass jar. AGW, the type of promotion to carry mustard packets in its shirt pockets. AGW, the type of promotion to drive 20 miles per hour in a Buick Electra. AGW, the type of promotion to describe a girl it just met as a doll. AGW, the type of promotion to wrestle in adult diapers. AGW, the type of promotion to give birth to a whole hand. AEW got all that money and they're basically using it to pay AARP dues to its top stars. WWE's next generation of young talent in Africa NXT is outdrawing Dynamite while learning on the job, right in front of AEW's faces. This should scare the shit out of AEW, given what they've spent on the roster compared to NXT. But instead, AEW's trying to fight all that youth with a musket and a battle axe. How is AEW having a midlife crisis before it even turns 7 years old? It's like if a child lost his first tooth and in order to cope it bought a Ferrari. There's no long-term plan for AEW to get younger, cooler, and or find an identity. Instead, AEW is hitching its wagon to aging stars of the past with week-to-week booking. Its homegrown stars are old, its free agents are old, and its theme music is even older. It's like they're playing Pass the Aux at a shuffleboard tournament. Do they want AEW Dynamite to feel like a 50s diner? Are they about to have a storyline where the Hurt Syndicate stages a sit-in at a lunch counter? You laugh, but Martin Luther King Day is right around the corner. And this year, my goat's birthday falls on a Wednesday. AEW had to move to smaller buildings in 2024. All In Australia will no longer be a stadium show, and All In Texas is facing the same fate. AEW is not drawing. Ratings are shit. The wrestling world is passing it by, and its answer is to get older? 2025 is an important year for AEW because they need to build on what they did in the past. The money they got for their new TV deal was predicated on its initial success in CM Punk. Tony Khan himself believes they got an increase for airing the Brawl In footage. But now AEW has to spend the next 2 years in search of another extension, which is not guaranteed. AEW has a wrinkly roster. WWE is on top of its game. CM Punk is long gone, and so is AEW's beginner's luck. AEW needs to get focused immediately, instead of pasting together an impression of a promotion with your dad's favorite wrestlers. It's no wonder AEW is dying in 18 to 34, and its 18 to 49 demo won't get any stronger with a main event that could be booked in an assisted living home. Check out this video and subscribe. How bad is AEW's midlife crisis really? Tell me in the comments!